Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Brick Township Council to order. Madam Clerk?
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on February 8, 2019. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards and the township website.
Thank you. At this time, please silence or turn off your cell phones. We have the roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Present? Present? All right.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontorero. Here. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilman Mumolo. Councilman Halloran.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Zapsik.
Here. Thank you. Would everyone please stand for a salute to the flag and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
No,
Madam Clerk, would you accept and file the reports of municipal officers, please?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 8th meeting, please?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Councilwoman DeYoung, second by Council Vice President Crate. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to invite the Council Vice President Crate and to join the mayor at the podium for a presentation of the Students of the Month. The mayor has to get
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. And, each month we like to take the time to honor and congratulate the Students of the Month for both Brick Township High School and Brick Memorial. These students have achieved significant academic success for the month, and we are happy and proud to acknowledge their accomplishments. So congratulations to each of you, and we wish you continued success in the future. I'm going to call up the students for Brick Township High School to start. For grade 9, Caitlin Goldsmith. For grade 10, Miguel Martinez Gonzalez. For grade 11, Devin Finelli. And for grade 12, Nicole Matazuski.
Chris, I think they want to be.
Yeah.
You gotta keep that aisle clear.
All right, and the Students of the Month for Brick Memorial High School. For grade 9, we have Isabella Jacobs and Isha Patel. For grade 10, we have Joseph D. Gasparis and Faith Pagan. For grade 11, we have Daniel Gerard and Cynthia Lynn. And for grade 12, we have Zahir Sweet and Sophia Mastrosario.
All right, thank you very much. We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the forms listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1. Mrs. Bergen, please.
Resolution 4-1, authorize emergency temporary appropriations. This resolution authorizes emergency temporary appropriations for the municipal budget as needed through the end of May. This resolution allows the township to increase line item department budgets by the amount specified, which has been calculated to get all departments through to the time of the adopted budget. The state budget deadline has been revised, which gives municipalities more time to submit adopted budgets, and these appropriations have been calculated based on the state's approved timeline.
Thank you. Resolution 4-2, authorize refund from police road job account. I'm sorry. Madam Clerk, would you
That's
read
okay.
the title into the record?
Authorize refund for police road job account.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a refund from the police road job account in the amount of $1,170 to Point Global Security. Resolution 4-3, Madam Clerk.
Authorize amendment to Safe and Secure Communities Grant 2019.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontoriero?
Thank you, Madam President. This authorizes an amendment to the Safe and Secure Grant Communities 2019 grant. This resolution authorizes amendment to the Safe and Secure Grant Communities grant as previously approved. This amendment specifies that the grant will be applied to the salaries of safe and secure officers, and the township will match the grant by covering the cost of fringe benefits. These grant funds will be used to fund officers who will be assigned to patrol duties, burglary details, narcotic and gang activities. The officers are assigned to the Operations Division, where they are involved in crime deterrence and the apprehension of criminals. The officers are also responsible for the citizens of the township by utilizing the community crime prevention programs, such as the Neighborhood Watch and problem-solving policing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 4-4, Madam Clerk.
Authorize receipt of bids, rental and laundry of DPW uniforms, rental of floor mats, rags, and fender covers.
Thank you. Council Vice President Crate.
Yes, this resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the rental and laundry of Department of Public Works uniforms, the rental of floor mats and rags, as well as fender covers. In addition to the uniforms, the service includes providing on a weekly basis exchangeable fender covers for mechanics to lean over the vehicles when they're working on them, exchangeable cloth weather mats in various sizes for mud and heavy traffic areas, and clean cloth wiping rags for mechanics as well as municipal complex maintenance personnel. The township rents these mats, and every week they're picked up and exchanged for clean ones and laundered. In May 2016, a 3-year contract was awarded to the American Wear, East Orange, for the rental and service of DPW uniforms, and to Aramark Uniform Services for the rental of floor mats, rags, and fender covers. By the end of the 3-year contract period, the township anticipates spending approximately $89,095 for this contract.
Thank you. Resolution 45, Madam Clerk.
Authorize award of bid drainage improvements to Baywood.
Thank you. Mayor, would you like to speak on this?
Sure, thank you. This resolution is going to authorize the award of bid for drainage improvements in Baywood. It's been an ongoing issue there. It's in the amount of $351,612.50, and it's going to go to Shore Top Construction in Farmingdale. On February 12th, the township received bids for the project. So for this particular one, notices were sent out to 63 potential bidders. 16 contractors responded, and they actually requested bid packages, and out of those 16, 11 bids were submitted. And they had price ranges all the way from the low, which is the $351,612.50 being awarded, all the way up to $675,576, and the other 9 were in between those numbers. The project generally consists of drainage improvements to Cadiz Drive, Monterey Drive, Valencia Drive, Alhama Drive, depends on who you talk to, either Cartagena or Cartagena Drive, and St. Lawrence Boulevard in the Baywood section of the township. So work in this project will include drainage improvements, concrete curb, and other associated work to help out with the drainage there. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 46, Madam Clerk.
Authorize award of bid purchase and delivery of aggregates and asphalt.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of bid for the purchase and delivery of aggregates and asphalt to the following vendors in accordance with a schedule of prices: American Asphalt Company, West Collingswood Heights, Brickwall Corporation, Forked River, Central Jersey Hot Mix Asphalt, Jackson, RMV Land and Livestock South, Jackson, Stavola Construction Materials, Tinton Falls, Trap Rock Industries, Kingston, and Walter R. Earl Corporation, Farmingdale. This is a unit price bid not to exceed a total of $500,000 per year, with funds to be certified prior to each order. This is a 2-year contract commencing March 8, 2019, and ending on March 7, 2021, with prices remaining fixed for the duration of the contract. On February 14th, the township received bids for these materials. Bid notices were sent to 22 prospective bidders, of which 8 picked up bid packages. 7 bids were received. Bid proposals for each line item included delivery to the Department of Public Works, as well as a pickup price at the bidder's plant. Secondary contracts are being made for each category, which will be used only when the primary contractor is not available for various reasons, such as scheduled closings or weather conditions. The current contract is a 2-year contract, which will expire on March 7, 2019. The new 2-year contract will commence on March 8, 2019, and end on March 7, 2021. The township received a tie bid for item 3A, quarry processed stone dust. The township attorney will now break the tie with a coin toss.
Yes, I just want to clarify, because I know some people haven't been here a lot. There are 25 items that were bid on, and on one of those 25, there is a tie, and that is for quarry processed stone dust. Stavola Construction Materials, Inc. and Trap Rock Industries both bid $20.50 per ton. And our method of solving a tie, when there's a tie, is by a coin toss. So I have a standard quarter. It's got heads and tails. I'll tell the clerk I'll put Stavola Construction will be heads, Trap Rock Industries will be tails, and it's tails, so it'll go to Trap Rock Industries on that tie. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 47, Madam Clerk.
Authorize award of contract Entertainment and Production Services 2019 Summerfest Program.
Thank you. Mayor, would you like to speak on this?
Yes, thank you. All right. One of my favorite resolutions, because it means that summer's coming soon, hopefully. But this resolution authorizes the award of contract to LaGuardia Associates. They're from Cedar Grove, New Jersey, in the amount of $32,900. It's for the entertainment and production services, all associated with our 2019 Summerfest concert series. And the special thing about this year, it is our 25th anniversary of Summerfest. If everybody remembers, 25 years ago, we were the first town anywhere in this area to do these types of summer concerts. And since then, almost every town in Ocean and Monmouth County have kind of picked up after something that Brick started. And this year, a special 25th anniversary, so we're expecting largest crowds ever. So we want to have the best bands that we've ever had. So I wanted to announce what they are. On July 4th, it will be Jesse's Girl, which is 80s music. July 11th is Brian Kirk and the Jerks, which is well known from the Jersey Shore. July 18th is Boathouse Row, which plays yacht rock, which is a new trend of popular music, basically 70s music. And then July 25th is Garden State Radio, who does awesome video show along with smoke, light show, everything else. So it's 4 awesome shows again every Thursday in July. July 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, Windward Beach, fireworks, food trucks, wine and beer garden, and all-out fun. So please bring your families, and we'll see you there starting July 4th. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 4-8, Madam Clerk.
Authorize advice and consent for fair and open professional services contract, municipal prosecutor, alternate and conflict prosecutor.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran?
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the following professional contracts. For the municipal prosecutor, Michael Burns, Esquire, for the firm of Grace Mamero and Associates at the rate of $600 per court session. For alternate prosecutor, Philip G. George, Esquire, for the firm of Eric M. Bernstein and Associates, and Edward G. Washburn, Esquire, for the firm of McKenna, DuPont, Higgins, and Stone, at the rate of $600 per court session. And finally, the conflict prosecutor, Dominic P. Diani, Esquire, for the firm of Eric M. Bernstein and Associates, and Edward G. Washburn, Esquire, for the firm of McKenna, DuPont, Higgins, and Stone, at the rate of $250 per court session.
Thank you. Resolution 4-9, Madam Clerk.
I just got all disorganized, sorry. Authorize change order number 1, final roadway improvements to Birch Park Phase 2.
Thank you. Mrs. Bergen? Thank you. This resolution authorizes a change order decrease in the amount of $67,234.09 to the contract issued to Earl Asphalt Company, Farmingdale. This change order represents an as-built quantity adjustment as needed to fully complete the roadway improvements to Birchwood Park Phase 2 project. Thank you. Resolution 410, Madam Clerk.
Authorize extension of contract for public safety uniforms.
Thank you. Councilwoman Conjurero.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution authorizes the extension of the contract for public safety uniforms for 60 days, as well as accepts the Sansies uniforms bill of sale and assignment, and awards the contract to Galls LLC of Lexington, Kentucky. Galls LLC has agreed to be bound by all terms and conditions as set forth in the public safety uniform bid contract, and will honor and perform all obligations under the contract. Township is proceeding with advertising for a new contract and needs a period of 60 days to complete the bid process and authorize a new contract.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 411, Madam Clerk.
Authorize execution of shared services agreement with Ocean County for 2019 pump-out boat program.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the County of Ocean for the 2019 pump-out boat program. This shared services agreement provides for the operation and maintenance of 2 pump-out boats. First one, the Bay Saver, and the second, the Bay Defender, to service the effluent discharge needs of boaters in Brick Township waters. To date, approximately 1.74 million gallons of effluent have been removed from over 83,200 vessels that otherwise could have been discharged directly into the Barnegat Bay. In the agreement, Brick will operate and maintain the boats, and the county agrees to contribute a reimbursement based on an estimate of approximately $20,000 for the 2 vessels.
Thank you. Resolution 412, Madam Clerk.
Authorize and approve shared services agreement between BTMUA and Borough of Manasquan.
Thank you. Council Vice President Creighton, please.
Thank you. This resolution approves a shared services agreement between the Brick Township Municipal Utilities Authority, I'm joking, and the Borough of Manasquan to provide services of water distribution system and sanitary sewer collection maintenance services on an as-needed basis. In accordance with the Uniform Shared Services and Consolidation Act, any authority such as the BTMUA that is created by a government entity must get approval I just swallowed the wrong way, sorry, from a governing body anytime they enter into a shared services agreement.
Thank you. Resolution 413, Madam Clerk.
Authorize Class 1 officers to attend Ocean County Police Academy.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes, this resolution authorizes Vincent G. Rustico, Gianna M. Koval, and Javier D. Lopez to attend Ocean County Police Academy for the Class 1 Special Officer Training.
Thank you. Resolution 414, Madam Clerk.
Authorize person-to-person transfer of plenary retail consumption license to Hop Brick LLC, trading as Hula Hands.
Thank you. Ms. Bergen. Thank you. This resolution authorizes a person-to-person transfer of a plenary retail consumption license issued to Brick Food LLC, trading as Hula Hands, to Hop Brick, trading as Hula Hands. Thank you. Resolution 415, Madam Clerk.
Authorize special events permit St. Patrick's Day celebration, PJ Sweeney's.
Thank you. Councilman Halloran.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a special events permit for PJ Sweeney's to conduct a St. Patrick's Day event on March 16th and March 17th between the hours of 11 a.m. and 10 p.m. at the restaurant on Brick Boulevard.
Thank you. Resolution 416, Madam Clerk.
Yes, 416A is a performance bond release for Mark Fusori on Maniloking Road in the amount of $91,997.98. 416B is a performance bond release for Ronald Caruso on Drum Point Road in the amount of $203,991.83. 416C is a performance bond release for Randy Talman, MD, Robin Street, in the amount of $9,960.91. 416D is a performance bond release for Paramount Plaza of Brick, Chambersbridge Road, in the amount of $710,148.85. 416E is an inspection fund release for Bernard Lombardi Jr., Maniloking Road, in the amount of $598.99. 416F is an inspection fund release for Walters Residential LLC on Drum Point Road and Herbertsville Road in the amount of $358.50. 416G is an inspection fund release for Northfield Construction Corp., Brick Boulevard, in the amount of $364.34. 416H is an inspection fund release for Drum Point Plaza, Drum Point Road, in the amount of $211.87. 416I is an inspection fund release for Ocean Care and Staffing, Inc. on Route 88 in the amount of $187.76. 416J is an inspection fund release for Alan J. Rotundi, DDS, Lanes Mill Road, in the amount of $381.75.
Thank you. Resolution 417, Tax Collector, Mrs. Bergen. Thank you. 17A are tax payments for 2018. There are two. Block 1077.86, Lot 5, in the amount of $1,336.75, and Block 645.01, Lot 87, in the amount of $477.19. 17B are tax overpayments for the year 2018 and 2019. Block 17.01, Lot 9, a total of $10,010.74 for both 2018 and 2019. 17C, tax overpayments for 2019, Block 1108, Lot 3, in the amount of $942.96. 17D is a redemption of tax sale certificates for Block 1443.01, Lot 32, Block 869.23, Lot 2, and Block 812, Lot 5. 17E, there was a state tax appeal granted for Block 868, Lot 7, 820 Route 88, in the amount of $1,309.64. 17F is a state tax appeal granted for Block 1149, Lot 5, 1930 Route 88, in the amount of $142,163.52, which is a two-year appeal. 17G, there's a state tax appeal granted for Block 1149, Lot 6, Askin Road, in the amount of $31.27. Thank you. That is the end of our consent agenda. Open to council for questions or comments.
Council President, I do have a question.
Yes, Councilman Bosman.
What were the total tax appeals for 2018? Do you know?
For the tax year 2018?
Yeah, the total tax appeals for 2018. Does anybody know?
You
Can we
mean
get that for you?
the total number, or?
Yeah, it's a total number.
Oh.
Oh,
Don't
can
have that in
can
my
somebody,
fingertips.
Council President, can somebody send that to my email?
Certainly.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions or comments from council? We have a motion and a second to end the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontorero, second by Councilman Halloran. I will open the floor to the public for questions on these resolutions only. And if you come forward, and please give us all your questions at once, and then we'll answer them. Ms. Call.
Thank you, President Zapsik, for recognizing me. And I see that we have a lot of people here tonight, which I'm very grateful for, because this is what a municipal meeting should be like. I'm going to limit my question to further details on the emergency temporary appropriations, or if I remember, having looked on the website, it may have been a long list. If so, please direct the audience as to how we can get that full information. I would have a lot more to say, but I want to make it very clear to the people who are assembled here that I congratulate them, and I know for some of them, it's very noteworthy, you can see it, it was a hardship to get out here. But that is the one way to make sure our elected officials know what's on our mind and why I come to every meeting and why I have a problem with not getting enough information. I must commend Councilwoman Pontorero and Council President Zapsik for their very complete summary of what was in what they spoke about. So with that, again, I thank you, and in deference to the people who have come that have things on their mind, and knowing that I get a meager 5 minutes to address anything and everything on my mind and in my heart, I will end that.
Thank you. Anyone else on the resolutions? Mr. Finelli?
Since you know my name, I don't have to state it. Just a clarification on item 13. When you read this, it says Class 1 officers to attend the police academy, but when you look at the resolution, it sounds like you're hiring 3 people and sending them to the school. Which is it?
We are
Well,
doing both. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Mayor.
that's right.
I'm so sorry.
We're hiring the 3 people, and then we have to send them to the academy to become special police officers.
Okay, when did you hire them?
Or a couple weeks ago, a week ago, last week?
So you don't need a resolution to hire them, you just need a resolution to send them to school?
Correct.
Really? When did that happen? I always thought when we had resolutions for hiring officers and whatnot, we don't have to do that.
That's,
What, okay. So clarify that, why do we need 3 more special police officers in the township?
we're doing more with our special police officers, if you heard last year with the bookings and the court security and things along those lines. So it's to fill out the rest of the roster, because they leave. They don't necessarily stay. A lot of them want to become full-time police officers, and when they get that opportunity in another town, they make that jump, because it's a full-time career.
Have any of them done that, or are these replacements, or are they net additions?
Now, this is to fill out the empty parts of the roster from people leaving.
Replacements.
Okay, people have left? 3 of them? So the actual count has not changed?
I think it was 4 of them. But one of them already went through the academy, so he's not appearing on the...
Okay, so we still have the same amount of special police as we had a year ago?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the resolutions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes. Bill resolution?
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $10,482,062.83.
Thank you. Open to council?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes,
Council President. Page 5, Traders Cove. It's for $12,750. It says dredging. I thought we completed the dredging there because we couldn't go over 17,500 and we're just adding more money on, more money on. I thought you would have to go out to bid after 17,500.
Is that under ARH Associates?
Um,
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay, so this is, the ARH Associates is the professional firm that we retained to do the permit.
Yeah, I thought we paid them $8,000 already to ARA to do the permit last time.
This is specifically, this is the firm that we hired to do the dredging. I could get you the total of their proposal. I don't have that.
Could
with
you
me.
please email me all the bills for Traders Cove from this
From ARH?
ARH Associates
Sure
that
can.
do with Traders Cove dredging?
I sure will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions from council? Seeing none, may I have a motion and a second? Oh, am I supposed to, yeah, motion and a second, please?
Motion.
Motion by, is that you?
No?
Okay. Motion by Council Vice President Crate, second by Councilwoman Pontoriero. Open to public on the bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME Associates, yes to the rest.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Council President.
Yes, sir.
According to the code here that you sent me sent to my mailbox, it says here that anybody that abstains must give reasons for their abstention. So Councilwoman abstained. What is her reason for abstaining?
Actually, I believe the code provision says that an abstention is to be counted as a positive vote unless reasons are given for the abstention. It does not require reasons to be given.
It says it right here, Administrative Code 2-32. That's the one the Council President gave me.
Yes, I'm
And
familiar
we're
with it.
following those rules.
Yes, we
So
are.
what is it? I'd like to know the reason.
Sure. The abstention, you're not required to give a reason for the abstention. Robert's Rules does not require that. Our code does not require that. What it says is an abstention is to be counted as an affirmative vote unless reasons are given that entitle it to be counted as a negative vote. So,
Can I read exactly what's in the code and not your just offhand, off the cuff?
you can read
It's
whatever
right
you have.
here.
Sure.
Okay. Get it here. It says, hold on. That's what the paper says. Oh, man. Hold on. It's yours, Kevin. Shit. Jen, can you get that, a copy for me from the office of the letter and the codes that Councilwoman sent to my email? Yes, I do.
Council President, you want to, maybe we'll come back to this issue?
Well,
Yes. We'll come back. Let's move on to the manual bill resolution. Madam Clerk.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,680,563.23.
Thank you. Open to council. Seeing none, may I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Pontoriero, second by Councilman Halloran. Open to public on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain, CME Associates, yes to the rest.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Council President, I do have it right here.
Okay.
Okay? It's 2-32. When the roll is called upon any question, the silence of a councilperson shall constitute as an affirmative vote unless he or she declares an abstention and give reasons for this abstention. So since this is a code,
Sir,
it says right here.
What you just read is what I just said. A vote to abstain shall be counted as an affirmative vote unless reasons are given so that it shall be counted as a negative vote. That's what that provision means that you just read.
She got to give reasons for the abstention.
No, sir, that's not correct. That
That's
is
what
not
it
what that says.
It says reasons for this abstention
Read the whole
right
thing.
here.
Read the whole thing.
It does. Just have to read that part right there. It says it right there, abstention and give reasons for this abstention.
And you're misleading by reading part of it. The entirety of that says, an abstention shall be counted as a vote in favor, unless reasons are given for the abstention. Reasons are not required, sir. That is not what that says.
I beg to differ with you.
Okay. We're now on to ordinance on first reading. I want to make an explanation about this before we move on, because there's a lot of folks here in the audience tonight that do not normally attend. The process for introducing and approving ordinances is set by state law. It's not my law, it's not the council's law, it's not the mayor's law, it's not the attorney's law, it's the state law, and we have to comply with it. There's two readings. On the first reading, which will be tonight, is an introduction of the ordinance. There is no public hearing on the introduction of the ordinance. The vote that will be taken by the council tonight is to simply introduce the ordinance. The public hearing and final vote on this ordinance will be in 2 weeks on March 12th at 7 p.m. in this room, and there will be a public hearing before the final vote. The reason for that is that in the ensuing 2 weeks, the township is obligated to notice the community in the newspaper with the date and time of the hearing and the ordinance, and it gives everybody ample time to actually read the ordinance and become familiar with it so they know what they're going to speak on. So I just again want to be clear, we're going to introduce it this evening. There'll be a period for council to comment, and then we will vote to introduce the ordinance. It will not be a final adoption. We're all good? Okay. Sorry. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, creating a new chapter 340 of the Township Code entitled Recreational Marijuana to ban the sale, cultivation, manufacturing, and testing of recreational marijuana within the Township of Brick.
This ordinance prohibits the retail sale, cultivation, manufacturing, and testing of marijuana products for recreational use within the boundaries of Brick Township. Once approved, the operation of marijuana retail establishments, marijuana cultivation facilities, marijuana product manufacturing facilities, and marijuana testing facilities will hereby be prohibited throughout the township. This ordinance is being presented on the recommendation of the council's Land Use Committee. I have a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion by, second?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman DeYoung, seconded by Councilman Halloran. I will open to council.
Council President, could you tell the public who is on that Land Use Committee, on the council?
The Land Use Committee is Councilman Mumolo, Council Vice President Crate, and Councilman Halloran.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
I'm going to abstain on this, on the first reading, and I'll give you my reasons why. I received my council package on Friday, February 22nd at 3 o'clock, which included a copy of the ordinance. At this point, I have not been included in any committee discussions regarding this ordinance. In order for me to make an informed decision, I reached out via mail, email to administration and others to find out where the ordinance originated. Was it from the mayor, the council president, the BA, or the committee? My concerns was that if it had originated from a committee, I had not received any minutes as of yesterday morning. In response, I was informed yesterday that the Land Use Committee held a meeting on Tuesday, February 20th, or for the record, February 20th was last Wednesday. I was also provided with minutes of that meeting, but felt that they were very brief. I reached out to the planner regarding her presentation to the committee, and she did respond with a summary. My feelings as a councilman sitting here, in representation of all the residents of Brick, I am not satisfied with the information that I have received. Perhaps a referendum is in order to going forward. Thank you.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Halloran.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alrighty. We are now on to public comment. Madam Clerk.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you very much. And again, for the folks that are new here tonight, we do limit the comment to 5 minutes, and that's so that everyone who would like to have an opportunity to speak can be heard. So we will be limiting. There's a clock. It'll ding. When you hear the ding, if you just finish whatever thought you were on and take your seat, we'll be able to move on and make sure that everyone is heard. Who would like to speak? Mr. Sluka? And again, for those who are new, if you would state your name and your address when you come to the microphone. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Excuse me. I'm going to read my letter, which you all got, I presume. Mayor John Ducey, stated February 21st. Council President Andrea Zapsik, and the other council members, residents of Brick, the media around here, and the entire Shaw community. A 14-foot noise pollution and safety wall, along with the shrubbery and other forestation, is needed in Evergreen Woods, Greenbrier, Primrose, Briar Mills, Brick High School, Birchwood, and some other areas of Brick and Ocean County. What is needed according to EPA studies and other environmental studies is a wall of at least 12 feet with additional forestation of heavy thickness and height of 20 feet or more. The mayor stated in the reorganization meeting that we here in Brick are family. You know, your clock is nuts, by the way. Presuming that the speech was not just political utterance to sound good with no real concern for the people of the community, it seems that the mayor, the council administration would be speaking out and backing up the mayor's words at every opportunity. I remember hearing, family means a lot of different things to different people. To me, family is about love. It's about support. It's about improving the lives of your family members, the mayor said. If he was saying this only about his wife, parents, children, I could understand the silence about not fighting, not cajoling, and not suing the New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners into doing what is right for his family. But the mayor specifically said he has his immediate family, his family of township employees, and his largest family, the residents of Brick. At the time, I presumed he meant all the residents of Brick, and not a select few that lived on the waterfront or secluded streets away from the horrors of the Garden State Parkway. I presume he meant all the residents, including those who have been forced to breathe the toxins pouring into the neighborhoods, causing asthma, autism, COPD, and premature deaths of our seniors. I can almost hear those words he stated. No matter how small, there is always love. No matter how big, there is always support. And no matter how overwhelming, you always try to improve the lives of your family. We are Brick and we are family. So treat everyone with respect and kindness, and treat them as if they were your family. That's what the mayor said. 2019 will be a great year for all of us. If this wasn't just political gibberish, it is time that the council, the mayor, and the entire administration back up those utterances. It is time for action. All should be speaking up. All council members individually should be speaking up. All should be speaking up within the township. All should be standing up and shouting out in order to let the commissioners know our family won't take it anymore. We may not need to hear of business openings or closings. We may not need to hear about sports teams, exploits, and successes. We may not need to hear about photographs of rivers and brick. We may not need to hear about a movie or fireworks display. But we need to hear from the mayor, the council, the entire administration, that they care about the full family of Brick, whether they live in a retirement village, a condo complex, or any other impacted neighborhoods or secluded beachfront properties. We need to hear the mayor, the council, the administration speak up and show they care. Not just with words, but with through caring and action. A wall and increased forestation is needed, and so many studies have been brought before this council over the last few years and have been asked that they look them up themselves if they don't believe people like me, and let the council prove it to themselves and then speak up. The time for action is now. I leave it to our other guests. Thank you for your time. Yield back. That's wrong. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
My name first?
State your name and address, please.
Yeah, Moshe Zainis, Z-E-I-N-E-S, 112 Elmhurst Boulevard, Lakewood, New Jersey, 08701.
Thank you.
First of all, I just want to give a general shout out to this board. I attend, and I have attended, especially in the last month or so, a bunch of town meetings around the county. I see you have a large crowd over here. It's very nice, and I noticed a number of the people here spoke and asked you quick questions about the resolutions, and I also noticed that your council people explained what's on the resolutions, and you asked questions about why we're paying for this, why we're paying for that. I just want you to know I've been at other towns where they do the whole thing in one sweep and no one knows what's flying. So that's a big plus over here. It really is. You have something going right there. Just want to ask two quick questions. One, I understand either you or someone else said that the ordinance which was introduced tonight was recommended to this council by your land use. I just wanted to know, the Ocean County Board of Chosen Freeholders, I believe they passed a resolution urging all their towns to adopt ordinances banning the sale of marijuana. Now, you introduced such a resolution tonight, and it'll be up for second reading on March 12th, but you're saying it was not requested, that it was recommended to you by your land use, and you didn't say anything about the county. So I just wanted to know if you would plan on sending that resolution, if adopted, to the county, because I believe they asked for them. I mean, I know other towns did. That's all I'm asking. That's question one.
Do we typically?
Typically, no. It's not legally required to do that. If you choose to, you can, but it's really just a courtesy if you do.
Sure, I'm not asking as a legal thing. I'm just asking as a courteous. The other question is, there's this all this hype in the news about this so-called rain tax that the governor may sign a bill that was passed by the Assembly and the State Senate, authorizing towns to create a stormwater management authority. Sorry, I have a stutter. There's a lot of hype about it. Some people are calling it the rain tax. Some people are saying this is what we need, back and forth. Bottom line, I just want to know, like I said, it hasn't been signed yet by the governor. If he doesn't sign it by a certain date, it'll be into law on its own. I just want to know if this town has thought about this yet. If the governor signs it into law, or if it becomes law on its own, do you expect that Brick may create their own stormwater management authority?
Actually, the question was asked at the last meeting. The mayor had a wonderful explanation, so Mayor, would you
was not
be
here,
able
okay.
to?
Sure, yes. I have no interest in burdening our taxpayers with extra dollars out of their pockets. We pay enough in property taxes, we pay enough in state income taxes and national income taxes, and everything else, that in order to put another tax obligation on our residents is something I have no interest in at all. It's not something that I would support.
Okay, thank you. And I have 1 minute, I'll be really brief. I just want to say, you said that in the next 2 weeks, it gives everyone the opportunity to look at the marijuana ordinance. I just urge the councilmen to also, if any media person calls you, pick up the phone and talk to them so they'll get the word out, and hopefully the other towns will follow in your footsteps. And I thank you for taking the big first step tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Folks could raise their hand. Ms. Call.
And call 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. And thanks again for recognizing me. I don't come to support or not support the ordinance. I do come to say it's the first reading. Who read the ordinance? You read the ordinance in full? I didn't catch every word of it. 2 weeks from now, I believe, will be the next meeting. And I just want to venture to say to the people assembled here, it appears like you're doing things right. I don't believe that it prohibits having everybody speak on it tonight. I do know that you should be giving us the opportunity, everyone here, whether we're for or against, to give you the reasons why you should or should not. But I'll venture to say that 2 weeks from now, before you have really heard everything we have to say, and certainly before you have time to deliberate on what we say, you will already have made your minds up which way you're going to vote. This is not sufficient time. Should have been published before this first reading, as far as I interpret the documents, and having it published in the next 2 weeks, and then having people come at a meeting and talk to you and delve into why you're going to vote the way you do and get that feeling. So I urge everybody here tonight, take your 5 minutes, limited as it is, even when there's only 5 of us speaking, and voice your opinions.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes. So I apologize for pointing at the people whose names I don't know, but.
Hi, good evening. Major Brian McDonald, live at 175 Chambers Bridge Road, the Chambers Bridge residence. I just want to thank everybody for opening the beaches to the veterans, and it's really nice of you to do that. And there is one little thing I'd like to ask, pretty please, sugar on top, and that is if you, I go to the rec center and get a season pass, it'd be nice, rather than come down to the beach every time with my Department of Defense Form 214, which is like an onion skin thing. It's a very, very fragile document and very important document. And I'd just like to know if I could take that once to the rec center. They give me a season pass, and it'd be a wonderful thing. Please.
If you take that document to the state, to either a state ID or, or a driver's license if you drive, I'm not sure if you drive or not, but driver's license or a state ID, they put a little notation right on it, and then that's all you have to show. It'll be right on there.
I've got my license with the little star, yeah.
Yep.
That's fine?
That's all you need.
But could I go and get the season pass, maybe?
Nah, you gotta show that at the beach, because we keep
Each
track.
time at the beach, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, I tried. Okay, thanks.
But you don't need the actual form at all.
No problem. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Guess who's next? Mr. Finelli?
First question, could I ask when the agenda went up on the website?
I certainly do acknowledge there was a delay. In our office, it was not posted till Monday morning.
Okay. What is the legal requirement? 24 hours or 48 hours?
There is no legal requirement that it be posted on the website.
Okay. This was just a fluke?
It was.
Okay.
Our apologies.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Second question, just a clarification in my mind, what our attorney was saying to Mr. Fosman about people abstaining. I'm not going to argue with you, I'm not an attorney, I just want to understand what you're saying.
Sure.
My understanding was if somebody abstains on voting on something,
Right,
they don't have to give a reason why they abstain.
correct,
And if they don't give a reason, it counts as a yes vote?
correct.
What if they're conflicted?
Then they should give that explanation if they want it to be a negative vote or a non-vote, and it would be counted that way.
So it's up to the person up there that says I abstain to come forward and say I'm abstaining because I'm conflicted?
They abstain, or they can ask for their vote simply not to be counted. Either way, it would work the same way. That's correct.
Okay.
It's you know what, it comes from Robert's Rules of Order, and I'm not going to try to explain it because it's been built up sort of over centuries. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, I don't know if you could explain it to me.
No.
I mean, if somebody says I'm not going to vote on this, but if they decide not to give you a reason, it counts as a positive
Affirmative,
vote.
right.
I'm sure most of the time we're not right at whether that one vote counts or not.
Yeah, but I should be clear that it's in the clerk's records as an abstention, it doesn't go down as a yes vote. It's marked off as an abstention, so it's sort of separate. The only time it's of real consequence is if there's a tie, if there's let's say there's 5 people voting and there's 2 and 2 and 1 abstention, then it would be counted as an affirmative for purposes of passage of the measure that's in front of the body. But other than that, it's really it's a non-factor.
The word you're looking for is, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody abstains because they have a reason. They don't abstain just because they feel like it. They have a reason. And if they don't say, don't count my vote, it gets counted, then why did you abstain in the first place? Why didn't you just vote yes?
Yeah, I hear you. As I said, this is it really comes right out of Robert's rules, and they're convoluted rules, and I can't always explain them.
I said I wasn't going to argue with you.
Yes, sir, all the way in the back.
Mayor, council, my name is Stephen Reed. I live in Point Pleasant Beach. I am the executive director of New Jersey RAMP. It is a group that basically is fighting the legalization of recreational marijuana. And I wanted to come here tonight. I was reading the news and wanted to come here and commend all of you for really putting your residents and your children first. I think it's very good. I know I can't answer any questions about what's going on in Trenton, but I could tell you that you're on the right path. There's over 70 towns now that are just saying no. The more they learn about this recreational marijuana, they know that it's not a good fit for their town. And I just want to commend you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brill?
Stephen Brill, Evergreen Woods. There have been accusations during public comment portions at several prior town council meetings that people living in Evergreen Woods do not have facts to back up their need for a sound barrier. This is false. I have provided documentation in the past and as recently as a month ago. My documentation was obtained by filing Oprah requests to Brick Township, New Jersey Department of Transportation, New Jersey Turnpike Authority, New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, Army Corps of Engineers, and other agencies. This is a partial list of the Oprah requests that I have submitted. Within this list are requests for environmental impact studies. Please note that the categorical exclusion was granted for the Garden State Parkway Interchange 91 project without considering the interrelated Garden State Parkway shoulder widening project. At a prior council meeting, a council person improperly used Evergreen Woods survey to show that only a small group of homeowners wanted the protection of a sound barrier. The survey was biased in its wording regarding the cost to residents. That survey was deemed invalid as the number of homeowners who responded did not meet the required percentage needed for action to be taken. I object to members of this council who sit back and, as history has shown, use minimal effort to remedy this attack on the township's homeowners, not only at Evergreen Woods, but other communities adjacent to the Garden State Parkway. You have used various tactics, ignoring our comments, interrupting us, diverting your attention, smirking, etc. Only one council member has requested documentation and a letter from us in over 6 years of appearing before you with an offer to help. I am neither Democrat nor Republican. The only side that I'm on is to advocate, agitate, and motivate you to remedy this constant attack on the many residents of Brick Township by the New Jersey Turnpike authorities, improper denial of sound barrier mitigation for Evergreen Woods. And this is just a partial documentation what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle, I could only see the top of your head. Come on. That's why I didn't call you by name. I couldn't see who it was.
Michelle Spector, 808 Jenny Court in Brick. I recently called the governor's office this afternoon. I wrote a letter explaining that he just signed a bill about having environmental devastation to lower income communities. And I just pretty much told them, back up what you say, and because we haven't seen it here. Everybody's been impacted, and nothing's being done. And nothing happened with the last governor's administration, and we're hoping that something happens this time. Unfortunately, the last person I spoke to in the governor's office was a total moron, and he pretty much said that what I have is an argument, and I had facts. I have all kinds of documentation, as Stephen suggested. We have tons and tons of documentation. And it was through arbitrary and capricious reasons that we were denied. And we're still working on trying to get something done for our community. Some children have gotten asthma, and there's a lot of children and adults that still can't get to sleep before 1 in the morning, which is very unfair. And I can't tell you what that's done to my short-term memory over the last 6 years. It's embarrassing. But according to the governor's office, it took 15 minutes for her to find. I sent an email, and Councilman Fosman actually sent a letter. And I was on the phone with her for 15 minutes, making sure she actually found it, so she's going to read it now. So thank you. I explained everything that happened from the DEP's hand in this, with the devastation of the center median for purported water quality, in which they're not really, legally, pretty much they broke the law. They weren't allowed to demand that basins go into the center median. They're only allowed to demand those types of things at sewage treatment plants in case the power goes out and, the manure has to go somewhere. So, and then I think some other area, but they stuck their nose in and they're pretty much getting away with it. And the Turnpike Authority went along with it, didn't really question it much. And so now there's noise, there's fumes, and then the last is that there's flooding, which is what happened to the senior community in August. They was devastated. So really, you have to stay on this. You don't need a word from us telling you to write. Just write, call them, and badger them, but get this done already. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak tonight during public comment? Yes, sir.
Hello. My name is Hugh Giordano. I live in Blackwood, New Jersey, Argyle Avenue. I'm a union representative for the United Food and Commercial Workers Union Local 152. Our union represents supermarkets, manufacturing, warehousing, truck driving, and also adult use and medical use cannabis workers. Although I know this is the first hearing and the first reading on this ordinance, not sure if I'll be able to make it back to the next meeting because my job is so crazy, but I wanted to be able to speak on this. The UFCW has approximately 1.3 million members across the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. And of those members, we represent thousands of cannabis workers in cultivation, in retail, in packaging, in testing. And I find this ordinance to be an attack on the working class, to be an attack on our labor union, and to be an attack on good jobs. I'll give you some examples. The big issue today is a living wage. And we have a lot of talk about the government creating these wages, right, in a minimum wage. These jobs create real-time wages in collective bargaining agreements. Starting pay in these jobs, I'll give you an example. The custodian makes $18 an hour, full benefits, retirement, and other types of benefits. A bud tender or medical tech, $21 an hour, full benefits, health care, retirement, and other benefits on top of that. A lead grower makes up to $2,400 a week. These are jobs that create a new income and a new economy for Brick and New Jersey and honestly the country. It is estimated that once it's legalized, it'll create 1 million jobs around the country, $132 billion in revenue. This is money that could go towards senior citizens, roads, and other infrastructure things, after-school programs for children. I know there's talk about we have to protect the children. The reality of it is keeping it banned in this township will only increase the black market. Could people drive to other places to get it? Of course they could. But the drug dealer is right here, right now. And they're not pushing just cannabis. They're pushing other drugs, heroin, and other pills on our children. The only way to stop and get these people off the street is to do it in a legal manner and to regulate it. I know a lot of people don't drink. But the reality of it is, society it's a reality. People are going to drink, and that's why Prohibition failed. That's why the mafia became because of Prohibition. So when we're looking at this is a real economic booster for people. Now, if folks are against cannabis, that's fine. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to go to a unionized dispensary and buy your cannabis. You don't have to do that. The reality of it is keeping it illegal, keeping it banned from this township will only bring in the drug dealers to push it because it's easy access. The other thing is, too, union workers also deliver alcohol. We don't see Teamsters out there giving out Budweiser to kids, do we? No, because these workers have good wages, good jobs. They're not going to risk it to give it to a 15-year-old kid. It's the same thing. Our union also works with the state to create an apprenticeship program to make sure that these folks who are getting into this industry are well-trained, to understand what they're doing. The issue, too, is a lot of folks that work in these dispensaries, whether it's the retail or the grow or the packaging, have 4-year degrees in chemistry, in horticulture. These are well-educated young adults who are looking to create jobs. These are folks that you want to move into your neighborhood, folks who will boost the economy, who will spend money after they get their paycheck of a living wage to spend in small business areas that are affected by people not having the money to go out there and shop and go to restaurants and buy clothes. So these are real issues. The other issue, too, is this is an attack on women. In this town, they make $20,000 less than males, if you look at the census. So this creates jobs for women to boost their economic value as well. It's also, from Forbes magazine, has showed that women in cannabis have a higher expectancy of being a leader within the industry. In the industry, in business overall, 25% of women are in executive positions. Only 5% are CEOs. In cannabis, it's much different. Cannabis provides an area, 63% of women are in executive levels and 36% are CEOs. So this is an outright attack on working class, on the labor movement, and the tax revenue here. I know folks talked about the tax revenue isn't much to brag about, but that little bit of money can go a far way for a senior citizen who can't pay their property tax, for a person who can't afford their medication, for a kid who can't go to an after-school program. That money can be used. And it is the job of council and mayor, you have the League of Municipalities, lobby the state if you want more. And the union is here to help you do that. If you want the help, we're here to do it. Do not be bullied. Thank you.
Thank you. sir.
Good evening. I once thought, like many of you, I was an ignorant idiot who had no idea what I was talking about. I used to speak negatively about marijuana and doubt its medical benefits. I would roll my eyes at the thought of it as a medicine, and was one of Uncle Sam's "weed is a drug zombie." It was only after years of treating injuries through prescription pain medicine and other drugs, the single greatest enlightening moment of my life was the moment I chose to smoke marijuana over prescription pain medicines to treat my pain. Every veteran and American deserves access and the right to that form of medication. Me and several other disabled veterans were prepared to bring substantial advancement and capital into the community by bringing a business in one of the very few growing industries in this nation that's job creating, while technology continues to destroy and disrupt the labor force. Marijuana is medicine, and the community deserves affordable access to this. Upon legalization, these laws borderline on our rights as citizens. In no way can you stop marijuana from being smoked if it's in a legalized environment. You're just hanging yourself on any potential revenue. Townships that ban this will be unlikely to take from the pot of tax dollars that this industry will bring to stimulate communities. Our school districts are crumbling. Everyone at this desk has failed the best interests of the taxpayers and homeowners of Brick. Over the next decade, the tax structure of this town will come down further pressure as property values tend to decline and the school district collapses. I have no children. I went to school in this community. In the event of becoming a parent, the first thing I would likely have to do is escape the disaster you've created here. The schools aren't getting any better, and the only potential tax increasing business we could have to bring money into the township infrastructure we're going to ban. Have any of you been to a dispensary? Raise your hand if you have. Recreational or medical? Okay, so you've never been to one? Okay.
I've been to one.
Oh, who? Oh, Jim, you've been to one in New Jersey?
No, Las Vegas.
Okay. Let me get back. I don't think you should be allowed to vote on such an act until you see firsthand several facilities of both types. You're voting and deciding on something blindly and without knowing the topic of it at all. If you're going to ban dispensaries, I demand we add to this bill barring all establishments from serving and selling alcohol. How many DUIs have come from popular bars in our community? How many police hours are spent at River Rock and Beacon regularly? How many police calls are due to domestic violence issues from alcohol-related instances, not marijuana-related instances? Another question, why does our town have police vehicles directing individuals onto the roadway after an American Legion party on Malalocan Road or a so-called family event such as Summerfest where alcohol is being consumed? I wonder how many of these individuals are drinking and get into the car and directed onto the roadway by one of our own police force. Question for the attorneys in the room. If one of these patrons left the American Legions or Summerfest under the influence and were let on the roadway by one of our Brick police officers, if that individual crashes or kills someone, is the township directly responsible? Should we be taking a risk at a facility we know liquor is being consumed at? That practice should be ended before we talk about hypothetical exaggerated dangers to the community. Today is February 26, 2019. I want that documented now, so when it does happen, if there is a fatality, I told you today. Your actions are directly terminating jobs for veterans and individuals with disabilities. I was prepared to hire a majority of my staff as veterans or individuals with disabilities. You should apologize for those lost opportunities to come to the community and for many other entrepreneurs to bring those opportunities here. That capital won't go into improving one of the many abandoned commercial properties littered in the town. Those properties will continue to deteriorate and only get worse. Great move for the benefits of the taxpayers, and only reassures me to sell my house before the situation gets any worse. I have one question for you, for the attorneys. Are you prepared for when an entrepreneur like myself or a religious organization sues you and believes you're violating their rights with your extremely biased and misinformed decision after the state finally allows this? How much taxpayer money are you prepared to set aside to battle these because of this ordinance? This is one of the only growing businesses in the country. Technology ain't coming here. Silicon Valley ain't coming here. That's one of the only other growing industries. And marijuana would bring some forms of tech jobs and possibly engineers and other forms of capital and money to the area, and you're just banning the only possible growing industry. I challenge you to tell me of one industry that's making more money that you can bring into the community now, because there isn't any.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Roxanne Jones, resident of Brick, New Jersey, who lives off of, I live in the Laurelton section next to the IHOP. First of all, as far as, voting against marijuana being against women, well, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that when a woman smokes marijuana, she is very lethargic and vulnerable to sexual assault. Number two, also, as a former member, by the way, of the United Food and Commercial Workers Union, when I used to work at Grand Union, I even went on the lockout, I would also like to state that as far as bringing money in, well, if marijuana is such a big money bringer in, why is it that California had budget problems? And even Brown said that, well, nobody said that we were supposed to not come, it was supposed to be a big money maker. And why has Colorado, a couple of years ago, found itself under budget, and they don't have that state-of-the-art, what do they call it, school system that they said that the marijuana was supposed to bring. And as far as people also, thirdly, being intoxicated after Summerfest or what have you, well, intoxication is against the law. How can anybody bring forth something, a law that says, hey, let's have another thing that makes you intoxicated after, say, Summerfest, which is supposed to be a family event or any other event? I mean, we have enough problem with booze. Now you're going to introduce something else? I mean, really, folks, why are you doing that? We also have boating problems with people who, do things under the influence of alcohol while boating. Now you're going to throw something else in legally? And let me remind you also, there is no sobriety test, unlike with alcohol. How is anybody supposed to know accurately whether somebody is intoxicated on this pot if it's legalized? And also, I would also like to further point out, someone mentioned domestic violence. Well, how about this? Somebody starts a fire in his or her house because he or she is passed out with a marijuana cigarette. Somebody is not, doing, what he or she is supposed to be because of intoxication. How in the world can you consciously legalize intoxication, more and more intoxicant? Now, let me tell you something, people. I don't know about any of you, but I have relatives who have unfortunately dealt with chemical issues, as they say, drug abuse, including one who's a recovering alcoholic. Ladies and gentlemen, a substance abuse problem is a substance abuse problem. It's not fun. It's not good. It is just ridiculous that you would even be considering legalizing this. And anyone who thinks that this is not going to jack up our our automobile insurance, I don't see how anyone's going to miss it. I mean, after, the opportunity, insurance companies, and it just isn't right. And as far as industry is concerned and how to improve our infrastructures and what have you, well, we can look and find other ways of doing it, starting with cutting waste. And of course, letting our governor know that it was darn right ridiculous to cut our school aid when charities have to collect school supplies for our school teachers. This, that is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Lefty Grimes from Bayonne, New Jersey, and I'm honored to
follow such ignorance. That was very
disparaging
ignorant
remarks.
because, let me tell you something. I'm on cannabis. I had surgery last month. I had a 2-level fusion on my neck. I took 0 opiates. 0. I had them right next to me the whole night. I didn't take them. The doctor told me to take them. The nurse made sure, take her opiates. I didn't take 0 opiates because of this man right here. He inspired me because he had his stomach taken out or his intestines taken out, and he only took 1 dose of morphine. So when I hear ignorance, I'm going to call it out. That's disgusting what I just heard. Because let me tell you something. The reason why cannabis is illegal is because of, first of all, there was white flight in the 60s. You can Google this. White flight in the 60s. They all came down the shore. They built council meetings. The KKK actually built council meetings, town halls, down in this area. Oceanport, they built the KKK built the Oceanport town hall. It's KKK all over here. Our government said things like this. In the walls of Congress, these things were said. Reefer makes darkies think they're as good as white men. That was said in Congress. It was said to Congress. You can Google this. Reefer makes darkies think they're as good as white men. That's shocking to me. We're going to continue the policy of the 20th century? We're going to continue the racism of last century? Are we going to move on? There are over 100,000 marijuana smokers in the USA. Most are Negroes, Hispanics, Filipinos, and entertainers. Their satanic music, jazz and swing, result from marijuana usage. This marijuana causes white women to seek sexual relations with Negroes and others. You can Google all this. Smoke a joint and you're likely to kill your brother. The primary reason to outlaw marijuana is its effect on the degenerate races. Who are they talking about? Marijuana leads to pacifism and communist brainwashing. That's last century's thinking. If you pass this ordinance, it's pathetic. You're on season 1, episode 2. The rest of America is on season 8, episode 5. Are you kidding me? You gotta wake up. You need some more, man, I don't know. You need some more white guilt up here. That's what you need. A little more white guilt up in here. After what white people have done to black people in the last century, yeah, we need some white guilt up in here. We don't have that. We got KKK down here, building town halls. Disgusting. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Good evening. My name is Mike Vingilaus. I'm a resident here of Brick. Well, a couple things I want to state here. I have a story. I'm a medical marijuana patient here in New Jersey. I have a story of getting off of opiates. I had an opiate addiction. It lasted over a decade. It was really bad. It got to the point where I was actually shooting heroin. I was on and off heroin, and when I was off of it, I was on the methadone clinic. It was a pathetic existence. It did nothing for me. It stripped the personality completely from me. I was home drooling on my bed, not being productive in any way, shape, or form. It took everything from me. It was a full-time job to stay an addict, and it wasn't pleasurable. I tried to get clean many different times. The will to get clean was always there. The traditional methods that always existed didn't do it for me. The rehabs, the methadone clinic was really bad for me. I was on 130 milligrams. It's a pretty heavy dose to be on. At the time, I started realizing, I got to a point where I realized that I could take cannabis and decrease the opiate usage. So when I realized that, I started taking the cannabis in the morning when I was supposed to take my 130 milligram prescribed dose. I would get halfway through the day and I would realize that I didn't even take the methadone prescribed. And then I started realizing that I could decrease the dose from the medical cannabis. At the time, I didn't have the card for medical cannabis. So the program being very restricted, very limited, hard to be a part of, I had to navigate because I wanted to get off the opiates, and I realized that the cannabis was going to be the X factor for me to do it. I was always all in, and I just needed something else, and I couldn't do it with just abstinence, the traditional rehab programs, the NA. If you're using anything, this is why people, in my mind, are dying. There's record-breaking numbers year after year. Opiate overdoses, record-breaking numbers. We're on par for the 5th year in a row. I don't advocate for recreational. That's not what I do. I go around with patients here and we advocate for patient access. I think here on tonight, I'm going to take a stance here and I'm going to say I'm very much for recreational. And the reason why is because the program, when I was in the position to try to get off the opiates, they didn't have opiate use disorder as a qualifying condition. So I had to get on the program so I could be in compliance. And I was able to get off all opiates. I am now drug-free. I have I use no opiates, no medications. I use the cannabis as a treat-all. It's the only medication I'm on. I'm over a year clean now, and I owe a lot of it to the cannabis. So recreational, what that would provide for somebody who doesn't have the money, who doesn't have the availability, the time, everything to be able to get involved in this over-restricted program, what it would do for somebody is give them an opportunity, make it a little easier for them to get off the opiates. Because for me, I was all in, and I had to navigate through the program because they didn't have the qualifying conditions added. Now the state recognizes that opiate use disorder, opiate syndrome, whatever you want to call it, is a qualifying condition for the medication. This is medication that is saving lives. It saved my life. It gave me my life back. The heroin, the methadone clinic, it took all the productivity out of me. I was a shell of a human being. Now, the marijuana made me active. I'm active again. I go all over the state with my friends here, fighting for medical access for this plant. And that's what it is. It's a plant. You cannot die from it. Remember, you can't die from this plant. You cannot overdose from it. Can't happen. I've tried to do it. You go to sleep. You get a good night's sleep. I think we need to take this serious. If we all actually care about the opiate epidemic, we're going to try to give access to marijuana to everybody. That's what we're going to want to do. I care about this epidemic. I go all over the state. I go with meetings. I talk to mothers who are dealing with families in addiction. They're looking for answers. People who are broken, they want solutions. I don't know why we're doing everything we can do to come up with an ordinance that doesn't really serve any sort of purpose. If we're really trying to do things for the community, what we want to do is curb this opiate epidemic. It's horrible. It just keeps going. We want to make cannabis access. We want to make access to cannabis available to everybody. So I'm going to take that stance tonight here. I'm going to say that I think what we need to do is we don't want to ban any marijuana. To me, marijuana is medicine. It's all medicine. To me, that's what it is. Marijuana is medicine. So I think if there was recreational marijuana, there would be somebody in my position who had a little bit of an easier way to try to get off the opiates. So I'm here to tell you that I'm drug-free, I'm clean, and I owe a lot of it to marijuana. Whether you want to call it recreational cannabis, whatever, it's got me off opiates. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? I'm sorry.
Jeff Oakes, 60 Pemberton Avenue. I don't even know where to start. There was so much covered here tonight. But I did listen to the podcast, Mayor, today. And I think I would like to address the stigma, probably among other things. I have 5 minutes. I don't know where this is going to go. I speak off the top of my head. It seems to work best that way for me. The mayor today made a comment about Brick being a family town. I have stage 4 cancer. I use medical cannabis. I don't consider recreational cannabis or medical cannabis. It's one plant. The plant doesn't have a mind like we do. It doesn't understand it. So I treat it scientifically. And the fact of the matter is, just like the CBD that everyone's running to the store to buy, THC is also a component, and that's beneficial health-wise also. There's a lot of athletes that want it. These are people that are not sick. There's people that are in training for sports, people that are just after general health, and people that want to use it for, why wait till you get cancer when you can use it, we'll call it for this purpose, recreationally. If you can put the bottle of alcohol away and substitute it with something that's beneficial for your health, why wouldn't you do that? And I don't know why the town of Brick, being a family town, wouldn't understand that and recommend, or not recommend, but kind of promote something that's a more healthy choice to reduce stress or anxiety after you come home from work. A lot of people that I know, and I'm sure a lot of folks in Brick, they'll reach for the bottle. And we know the result of that. And some folks spoke tonight about the effects of cannabis, and it's, I can tell you, truthfully, I've been smoking all day, so if anybody was drinking all day, they probably wouldn't be at the meeting tonight. So I think that the communities in New Jersey need to somehow get past this stigma between alcohol and cannabis. There's a lifestyle change that is going on. Alcohol is starting to be looked at as, well, for what it is. It's not healthy. I have tumor in my liver as we speak right now, and I don't suggest anybody to abuse their body with alcohol. We've been doing it for years. And if anybody wants to know why they have a drinking habit and why we have alcohol in the first place, it's because back years ago, they didn't have the water systems that we had, and there was a lot of bad things in the water, so it was actually safer to drink, or I guess to use alcohol with the water to basically kill bacteria. That's one of the original uses for alcohol. But now we use it now to douse our sorrows from work, and that leads into more problems at home. It leads to more problems in the workplace. We talk about drugs in the workplace, the war on drugs, drugs in the workplace. I spent my whole career in heavy construction. And truthfully, I can tell you there was a lot of accidents from alcohol after lunch. And I knew the folks that smoked cannabis, and I can tell you it really wasn't an issue. For the same reason, it's not an issue for me sitting right here tonight, because I didn't drink all day, I smoked all day, and I can function. Like my friend Mike here says, it helps you to function. It's good for you. It's not the demon. The demon is alcohol. The demon is opioids, which you have. Matter of fact, I think 3 or 4 months ago when I was here for the the zoning board hearings, we spoke to an officer outside. There were 3 overdoses in the time that we were here in this meeting. So there's a very serious problem here in Brick. The answer to it is medical cannabis, and the answer also to that problem is recreational cannabis, so that people have that option, and they won't reach into the medicine cabinet for their wife's prescription of something else, or ask a friend for something to cope with the sprained ankle that they got at work. They can just go down to the dispensary down the street and get a container of recreational marijuana and continue to function and medicate with what we call here tonight recreational cannabis. So yes, the families, I only have 11 seconds here, the families that use cannabis are offended, Mayor. We would like at least to have the respect of families that use alcohol. Thank you.
Is there any, yes, sir.
My name's John Edmonds. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I'm also a marijuana user. I'm also a disabled veteran of Vietnam, and until I started using marijuana, I was trying to drown my sorrows. Now that I've quit marijuana in August of 17, they were going to put me in a facility, as they call them, because my PTSD had gotten that bad. And last month, we discontinued my therapy because of my marijuana usage. I'm pro-medicinal marijuana, but if you lump this together as recreational, because medicinal must have packaging and production facilities. And as I understand the resolution now, they're all lumped together. If medicinal is totally separate from recreational, people get better on medical marijuana. And I'm here to say that if you vote this resolution into law, then I would expect you to go dry next. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak this evening? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jeffrey King. I live in Eatontown, and I'm here to speak against this proposed ordinance to ban adult use and social use cannabis and spiritual use. I think it does perpetuate a stigma that is based in mistruths and racism, and I think it's oppressive to poor people, and I think it's a pretty sad thing that we would want to perpetuate that and not actually speak to the contrary, try to help people who've been harmed by the war on drugs, people who've been arrested because of the color of their skin. I think that we need to change the rhetoric to more love and compassion and kindness. And if you disagree with that, then I think I should at least appeal to you to be consistent. I would also say the alcohol embrace by our culture with the Super Bowl and with Summerfest, which supposedly family-friendly, children-friendly events, we have alcohol center stage as a sponsor of those events. And I think that's wrong. Regardless of what you do with cannabis, I think we need to look at alcohol in a much less friendly and kind way, because it is a deadly, toxic, poisonous substance that people do ruin their lives and their family, their community, addiction and death. So I would definitely urge you to make this a dry town. If you will go ahead and ban social and adult responsible use of cannabis, then you need to be consistent and ban all alcohol, close all the bars, all the packaged goods stores, and make your DWI 0.0, zero tolerance, zero, and be consistent, and that's not hypocritical then. If you want to say no to the jobs and the real estate rateables and the development of the economy, that's something I would disagree with, but then you should also end all of the economic gain from alcohol. All the money that you get from the fees and permits, property taxes, you should reject that. And while I'm speaking in that vein, we have addictive opiates all around us in this country. Are we going to give up that revenue too? Are we willing to do that and be consistent and not hypocritical? Because otherwise, you're just flying in the face of our country stands for the freedom of the individual to make their own decisions with what they do with their body, as long as they're not harming others. We have to work on real problems like sex trafficking. I don't know what goes on here, and I just think it's horrible. In my community, I urge them, yes, in my backyard for cannabis, because it does help people. It heals wounded people. But no against all this other horrible stuff. Just be consistent, please. Be compassionate, be fair and kind. Do your research. If you're not sure, you don't have to go ahead with this. You can do it in the future. The bill hasn't been passed in Trenton yet. We don't know what it's going to look like. I'd hope you would advocate for home growing if you don't want any stores, so that patients can at least have access. There's going to be delivery in the town. You know it's going to be here, but you're not going to get any of the revenue. It's just inconsistent. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's kind of myopic. It's short-sighted. You're thinking with a solution to the problems that hasn't worked, just doubling down. That's the definition of insanity. You have to think outside of the box and come up with a new idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
Name is Dmitry Fyodorov, former resident of Mamie Drive here in Brick. I was arrested a year and a half ago for cultivating here in the township, and it ruined my life. What I wanted to tell you first and foremost is you're not ready to make this decision. You're not educated, you don't have the experience. I challenge anybody here to tell me the difference between industrial hemp and the term marijuana. You don't know, and you're going to arrest people with industrial hemp on these streets, and you're going to put them through the court system, and you're going to ruin their lives, and you're going to find out after I think it's 6 months backed up in the laboratory that you've wasted a lot of time and money, resources, police officers, judges, tax dollars. Get educated, more than the people that are actually working in this community, to make the decision on behalf of those people that are working in this community before you ruin another person's life and chase them out of Bricktown and have them go to Colorado for their family's needs or their civil liberties. Please, do some diligence in getting educated. It's your jobs. That's what we pay you for. Okay? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I am the founder of the Church of Cannabis Sativa, just in case we need to exercise any religious freedoms here. 501c.
Anyone else this evening? Yes, sir.
Council. Thank you. I'm not going to talk about whether I think somebody should use marijuana or not. I think the biggest issues here are, I'm sorry, my name's Eeyore Huck, 28 Lagoon Drive.
Thank you.
In Brick. I'm not going to tell you whether you should use marijuana or not. That's not my place. I think the issue is that the medical use and recreational are getting intertwined. My uncle and my godfather, who just passed away 2 months ago, suffered from multiple sclerosis for over 40 years. He was diagnosed before there were the treatments there are today for that disease. Medical marijuana was one of the few things that helped him ease his pain. He was constantly in pain. I have a customer who's had 3 major back surgeries, fusions, and whatnot, and using medical marijuana allows him not to take as much opiates for his pain so he can get around. My issue with it is the proposed site for the dispensary and the recreational use that's getting intertwined with it. I believe it'll bring my property value down. I'm half a mile from the dispensary. There's a school close to it. I have to take Mount Logan Road to get to my house. In the summer, the traffic's unbearable already because of all the families going to the shore, the beach. In the morning, if I don't leave my house early enough, I'm behind school buses. So putting this site there against a wildlife refuge in an area already high traffic, I don't agree with. If individuals want medical marijuana, I have no problem with that. Put it somewhere else. And I don't know if they're still here. There were a couple veterans here. Thank you for your service. But again, I feel the issue is it's getting intertwined, and if you want to compare it to alcohol, then there needs to be a system to test and regulate and consequences if somebody gets pulled over under the influence of marijuana and alcohol. They both should be the same, or some kind of system. The last point that I wanted to make is I'm a business owner, and I feel that a lot of the recreational proponents for it, they try to use the ploy that they're helping people, but I feel it's just misguided and it's just an attempt for them to make money. As far as how it doesn't affect your judgment or your impairment, I run an automotive business. I've gone through 3 employees last year that were constantly under the influence of marijuana. They can't operate heavy machinery. They can't function. That might not mean for everybody. There might be individuals that can function, but that's my experience with it. So again, if medical use, I have no problem with that. Do it the right way. Get your prescription card. Maybe there needs to be a better system with that, but I don't want that on my side of the town next to where my nieces and nephews play and next to schools and where it's going to make traffic for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, close public. We are on to council comments. Mrs. Bergen.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. I just have a couple of things. We had a long process of, we needed a water allocation permit based upon, we have so many parks in town and athletic fields and everything, and we were spending, a lot of money on water because to keep everything green. So a few years ago, we applied for a water allocation permit, and we got the good news in 2 weeks ago, I think, that we were granted the water allocation permit. So now we can, we have the ability to water our fields and keep them in perfect condition, soccer fields, lacrosse fields, all of our parks around town. And it was a lot of hard work from a lot of people here in Town Hall that I just want to say thank you. It was one of the things we're trying to get accomplished for a long time, and to see it come to fruition just shows all the hard work pays off for everybody in our engineering department and Ms. Bergen, for all your hard work. Thank you very much. The second is just give an update on the Food Town site, our long-awaited sports dome with our indoor fields, our basketball court, our indoor wave, our flow rider. March 13th, is going to be our final site plan before the planning board. So I'm looking forward to that hearing as well and getting through that process and moving on to the state and CAFRA. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Starkey? Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary? Councilman Fossman?
Thank you, Council President. Congratulations to the Students of the Month. And after receiving a copy of email sent to Governor Murphy by Michelle Spector, serving as a representative for the Evergreen Woods, I felt the need to also reach out to the governor regarding their plight. I have not heard back from them yet, and I urge the council, my colleagues, and the mayor to reach out as well to help those people in their plight. On a couple of things before I get to some serious stuff here. On Monday night, February 18th, my wife and I attended the Morning Rotary Comedy Night at the VFW on Adamston Road. It was a lot of fun, and it was really packed. And on Saturday, February 23rd, my wife and I attended the Bobby Bucher Foundation dinner dance. The event was held at St. Dominic's. There must be at least 400 people in attendance. This foundation helps people's families who are dealing with horrendous illnesses, and I urge everyone to try to attend the event next year. And I just have, through the council president, Greenbrier 1 Engineering. Is there any report yet from for that flooding over there? Is there anything that came in yet?
Mayor?
We're waiting. There was 6 months on February 14th, and we're going to make a formal request to say, why aren't they here giving us a presentation, or at the very least giving us a report? It's ridiculous that it's taken this long.
Through the council president, can I get a copy of that report? When it comes in?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Copy of the
If
engineer?
they'll give it to me. I don't know what's going on over at the
All right.
county, but they're taking forever, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The people in Greenbrier are waiting for 6 months. They're living in fear every time it rains. They think it's the Parkway, and we want to know if it is or isn't. So
Yeah.
please tell us, county.
Also, our budget booklets, they're coming in on March 12th. Why can't we get them any earlier? Because on March 12th, we're actually having the budget presentation. I'm getting the budget book the same day as we're going to be presenting to the town. I have no time to go over it. I need to have that ahead of time. Anybody answer? Through the council president.
Mrs. Bergen, can we get them earlier than March 12th, or is Maureen still compiling the
We're
information?
still compiling. I don't even have a copy. We're still working on it on a daily basis, and we have in the past given the council book out on the night the presentation starts, so it's not an anomaly or unusual. It usually does take us right down to the wire. If it's prepared earlier, I'm certain it would be handed out earlier.
Through the council president, could we postpone this March 12th, 1 week, so we have a week to go over the book?
We would not be able to do that and be in accordance with the state budget guideline.
Would we be able to get them when we get our council packets on the Friday before the meeting?
If they're printed, I'd be absolutely have, I don't keep them in a pile on my desk till a certain date. We usually work on them and then get to
Correct.
the printer, and when it gets back is right around the time they're handed out. So
Okay.
when we have them, we're happy to hand them out.
Would you ask our CFO if she could, if there's a way we could get them when we get our packets for
Yeah.
that meeting?
It'd be easier for me to answer that question when we're done working on the budget.
Fair enough, thank you.
Okay, I'd just like to bring everybody up in the Traders Cove dredging permit application status. On February 12th, 2019, I reached out to Susan Dietrich at the New Jersey DEP regarding the process the engineering firm ARH must adhere to, and in order to redo the permit application, which had been previously deemed technically deficient. Well, we already paid this company. Her response on February 21st was that the township provided the hydrographic survey of the marina in order for the New Jersey DEP to prepare a sediment analyst protocol for the remaining materials to be removed from the marina. The township also provided the necessary information for the materials previously deposited behind Town Hall as well as behind Public Works. She she approved sampling protocols which would be sent to the township on that date. The next step would be for the township to perform the sampling protocols and to submit the results for review. I just want to bring everybody on an update. Now I'd just like to talk about, when I was visiting my daughter and my son-in-law out in Las Vegas, I knew this subject was going to be coming up, and I did visit a dispensary out there just to get the feel and see what the dispensary was about. So it was about 8:30 at night. They drove us out there. It was a regular strip mall. Nobody's hanging outside. We went inside the door. There's 2 windows like a bank, and there was a security guy inside. You have to give your driver's license. They make a copy, and then the security guy lets you in the back door, which there is a counter there, and there's people standing at the counter, and you go over, and they have everything on display, and you talk to them and everything. So after reviewing this and getting a feel, we left, and when I left, I noticed there was nobody hanging outside the building. I got to admit that. Nobody was hanging out there. Nobody was lighting up outside there. Everybody just got in their car and they left. So I just want to bring that up. That's from my experience, what I saw. So I just want to let everybody in on that. Okay. That's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to thank all of the residents who gave up their time to come out tonight and to let their voices be heard. It is so important to me and to all of my fellow councilmen and women to hear the residents that we represent. We're not here to make a decision that we want. We're here to make a decision that you want. In the next 2 weeks, you have the time to provide us with information and your words. You have the ability to come to the meeting on March the 12th and give your input. I urge all of you to share what's in your head, what's in your heart, and what you feel is the right decision for your town. I think it's much more constructive to hear directly from our residents than to hear someone regurgitate what they did for the week. Thank you so much for being heard.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dio.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to congratulate our students a month. And also, I have a Buy and Brick update. Cloud9 Donuts on Drum Point Road. We do not yet have a rebate percentage, but we'll let you know when we do. Sweet Grass Food Market is going to be part of our Buy and Brick. I know you're excited, Lynette. That is on Hooper Avenue with a 7.5 rebate. It's kind of like a little bodega shop. Also, our Senior Services is hosting a Senior St. Patrick's Day brunch on March 15th at 10:30 at the Senior Center on Adamston Road. There will be corned beef and cabbage lunch sponsored by Brandywine Living with entertainment by Wild Rose. There will be a limited number of tickets, so you must register in person at the Senior Center. Now, that's a little different than in past years, but please go to the Senior Center. They have activities all through the week. Go do chair yoga or aerobics or ballroom dancing or whatever they offer, but you must register in advance. And also a $3 donation is suggested if possible. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Harrell.
Thank you, Council President. Just congratulations to the students of the month, and I do have a question from Councilman Fosman. Did you buy anything while you were out there?
Yeah, I had it shipped to your house.
My comment wasn't supposed to be funny, but I guess you thought you were. Thank you.
Council Vice President Creighton.
Yes, I just have a couple announcements. The first one is the Brick Garden Club will be having its first meeting of the year on Monday, March 11th, starting at 7 p.m. This will be their annual membership drive meeting and with guest speakers, refreshments, and door prizes. So all meetings are held at the Cultural Arts Center at 515 Herbertsville Road in Brick, and everyone's invited to attend. The other announcement that I wanted to make is that our annual Green Fair is coming. It will be held on Saturday, April 13th at Brick Township High School. This has become a really spectacular annual event that we hold for our township residents and anyone else that would like to attend. And I just want to let you know that this year's theme is Make One Change. And along with that theme, we are going to have vendors, activities, promotions. We work in conjunctions with Brick Township High School. I think the Junior Honor Society has a tag sale or a rummage sale that day as well, so it's sort of like recycling. And there's also going to be breakout sessions where you can go to different programs that will be held in separate rooms so that you can actually hear. If you've ever been to the Green Fair, it's kind of loud in the gymnasium, but if you go out to the breakout sessions, we're going to have, one is about rain barrel, building your own rain barrel, that's going to be put on by the BTMUA. Atlantic Coast Recycling is going to be presenting. They're the general recycling for Ocean County. Clean Energy will also have a breakout session, as well as Clean Water Action and Save Barnegat Bay. So I encourage everyone to come out on that day. It's going to be a really great event and a great way to spend Earth Day, well, close to Earth Day. Okay, thanks so much and have a good night.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We don't always have to agree with one another, but the important thing is that everyone has the opportunity to politely and appropriately express their opinion one way or the other. So I appreciate everyone who's stuck it out to the bitter end, and thank you for coming. Thanks to those who spoke. And our next meeting will be on Tuesday, March 12th, right here at 7 p.m. Have a motion to adjourn? Motion. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.